First of all, apologies if the video title sounds like clickbait. That's not my intention. I found a genuine issue that I'm trying to sort out, and I'm hoping that by making the video I'll be able to find a solution to the problem, as there may be a chance that someone else has had the same issue and found a solution. Maybe this is just an issue I'm having, but my guess is that I'm not the only one, judging by the reviews that I'm reading online. Until I find a solution, I'm not able to use my dryer as intended, and ideally I'd like to continue using an integrated appliance. So a bit of background. A few months ago we started a kitchen renovation at home. It's taken months as we ran into a lot of problems along the way. After a lot of hard graft, we were finally getting round to finishing and just needed to get a tumble dryer sorted so we could start putting all the plinths and the doors back on. We had originally intended to reuse our old vented dryer, but the vent hole was in a different place and the unit wouldn't fit in properly, so we needed a new integrated dryer. We did a lot of googling, and from what we were told, vented dryers are going to be phased out, and our only choice for an integrated dryer would be a heat pump dryer. Apparently they're the future. Now, I'm no expert on tumble dryers, but in very basic terms, vented dryers expel the hot air outside, and that's what we've always used and had no issues. However, heat pump dryers use what they call a closed loop heat exchange. Somehow the hot air created absorbs the moisture from the clothes, which is collected within the dryer, and the hot air continues to be recycled inside the dryer until all the moisture from the clothes is gone. And when you finish, you simply empty the collected water from the machine. So left with no alternative, we purchased a heat pump dryer. The instructions mention about how and where it should and shouldn't be fitted, and we ticked all the right boxes when installing, so I'll show you the issue that we've got. I'm going to place a recently washed load into the dryer. To make sure it runs as smoothly as possible, I'll clean the filter inside the machine and the filter at the bottom, which should be cleaned after every use. It's not the best design in my opinion, as you need to keep removing the kickboards, but they all seem to be like this now and it's kind of crazy. You can see by the monitor that the temperature is around 22 degrees Celsius, which is ideal, and a humidity of around 63. Normally the humidity is lower than this, but I've recently had the dryer on, and because of the issue that I'm about to show, it does change the humidity levels within the room. Using a temperature gun, I can check the temperature of the surrounding areas, and they're pretty much the same temperature of the monitor. So I'll let the machine run for half an hour or so, and I'll come back and show you what's happening. So it's roughly half an hour. The machine hasn't fully warmed up yet, but as you can see there's already water starting to form on the outside of the door. I'll leave it running a bit longer and come back to it in a few more minutes. So now it's all fully warmed up, and you can see straight away the problem that I've got. There's water on the outside of the drum door at the top, but what's more worrying is that at each side of the cupboard there's literally water dripping down to the floor. When this first happened, I called customer services and they sent an engineer out. They were very helpful and suggested it could be a faulty door seal, so that was replaced. It was also explained that as a company they aren't able to put a load of drying on and sit there for a few hours watching the machine, which is understandable. So that's what's really forced me to make this video, so that I can show the issue without anyone having to wait around to recreate the issue. Anyway, after the door seal was swapped, we ran another load and the same issue happened. We were told it could be because the worktop was quartz and the temperature difference could cause condensation. We were also told that the ventilation around the machine can also cause an issue, as well as the temperature difference between the room and the surrounding surfaces. But as you can see, everything's at room temperature, and there's a lot of room behind and above the machine. Obviously there's not a great deal of room at the sides, but that will never be the case as it's integrated. So we reported the issue again and another engineer came out. Because the engineers again can't sit with the machine for hours, it's quite hard for them to see what's going on. So in the end we just swapped the machine as it was under warranty, and it was easy just to swap like for like rather than trying to keep fault finding the issue. The replacement arrived a few days later. We spent a great deal of time setting it up again, but within an hour of it being switched on, the issue reappeared. And it would probably be a waste of time getting someone out, so I spent the next few hours trying to work out what the issue could be myself, and I think that I found it. It looks like hot air seeps its way through the sides of the machine, putting hot air out into the kitchen. Not only is this not ideal, as it changes the humidity levels of the room and the house, the hot air condensates on the sides adjacent to the machine when it's fitted as an integrated appliance. This will inevitably cause damage to the cabinets. Now, I read a few reviews where customers reported condensation issues but couldn't find out where it was coming from, so I'm interested to know if this could be the same issue. There are a lot of good reviews for the dryer, and I'd be interested to know if those who reported good reviews and have integrated the machine like we have you look closely around the sides to make sure it's not getting wet like this. Now I guess I could just buy a different make of machine. The problem is, when I looked online, a lot seem to use the same type of shell, so my obvious concern is, do they all do this? This is sold as integrated, but it's hardly fit for purpose if there's hot air coming out the sides, which physics dictate will no doubt cause the air to turn to water vapour regardless of the ambient room temperature. And this to me seems like a huge design flaw. The reason for me making this video is not to slate the manufacturers or the machines. And for all I know, I just happen to have had 2 faulty machines or machines from a faulty batch. But I'm trying to see if anybody else has had the same issue, as it would be super handy to know that it's not just me. But also on the flip side, if anyone has had this issue, have you come up with a solution to the problem? Because unfortunately, heat pump dryers are the future. And if I can't find a solution, I'm stuck on what to do next. Obviously, I'll now contact the suppliers again, and hopefully if they get a chance to watch the video, it'll allow them to see the issues I'm having, and that might help find a solution. But ideally, I'd like to try and find a solution so that I can keep using this integrated dryer in the kitchen and not run into any of the previous issues. So if you're watching the video and you can offer any help or advice, please let me know in the comment section. And perhaps if you've got an integrated heat pump dryer and similar setup to this, maybe have a look and see if you've got this issue or not. And if you're about to buy a heat pump dryer, perhaps this issue could be something to bear in mind and look out for when designing your kitchen. Whatever happens, I'll make a part 2 to this video once a solution's been found, and I'll make an update on any issues that may or may not have been solved after the engineers have been out to it. If it's a mistake on my side, I'll let you all know, that's only fair. And likewise, if it's the machine, I'll list the findings in the next video. I wouldn't want anyone to be put off these machines if it's a fault on my side, but equally if there's a genuine issue, then I also wouldn't want people to be running into the same problems.